everyone, welcome back. And today I'm going to be giving my first impressions on the new Disney Star Wars series, Skeleton Crew, episodes 1 and 2. As you know, Skeleton Crew aired last Monday on December 2nd, which was an early launch for some reason. I don't know why they did an early launch. Usually you don't see dates being changed like that, like right after a preview comes out and an announcement is officially made on to the public. So that's kind of the first time I've ever seen that happen personally. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen all the time. It's just the only time I can personally think of. And spoiler alert, by the way, if you have not yet seen Skeleton Crew on Disney Plus, please go watch it before watching this video. Unless you don't care about spoilers, in that case, keep watching. So the one thing we can tell right away is that the setting is in the New Republic era. And we know that because during the opening pirate scene attack, there was a mention of the fact that that the ship under attack was protected by the New Republic, right? But then after that, it pivots over to Aden, where we meet our first characters. We have Fern. Fern is kind of a thrill seeker, likes to ride fast on her speeder bike. She's bored with the life on the planet. She doesn't feel like there's anything else to do except, what she wants to do. And also her character, she tends to be the one to actually take charge from the group of characters. JB is Fern's friend. She's a tech expert, but she also kind of keeps Fern in check. She keeps her a little bit more grounded, and checks her when she's stepping out of line. Then we have Wim, who's similar to Fern in the sense that he kind of wants to do what he wants to do, but doesn't have quite the charisma or take charge attitude that Fern has, and he definitely doesn't want to live a boring life. Of course, it does explain that he has aspirations to be a Jedi. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Jedi are looked upon as heroes and protectors and things like that, but they're supposed to be set in the New Republic. And in the New Republic, there are almost no Jedi left. So he also has this really weird quirk of not listening and pushing buttons he's not supposed to push. So then you got Neil, who's Wim's best friend, and he's a simple and laid back character, right? And he just kind of goes with the flow. And overall, I would definitely say probably the most down to earth character out of all of them, which is hilarious given the fact he's the only non-human in the group. And I'm sure everyone has picked up on it at this point that he looks suspiciously like the alien playing the piano from the cantina scene in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. You can definitely tell these children are still new to the role. They're good actors. I would not say that they're bad actors. I would say they're pretty good actors. But there's that awkwardness. There's that awkwardness in the role when they're first starting to learn how to be these characters. We've seen it in the past. We've seen it in the show Friends, and where you're first being actors and they're trying to play the role and they're playing the role, but there's a certain off-putted, unnatural feel about it that you can kind of detect almost subtly. Ultimately, these characters all start out on the planet of Aden, and the design of Aden is interesting. So they really took Star Wars and tried to give it a real solid suburban look, right? Not really sure why, but they definitely leaned into that. And, they had the houses all lined up, nice, safe-looking streets, just like a suburban world. They have bus transports. They have schools, really leaning into modern day American suburbs as far as the look and the design. One thing that kind of threw me off though is, why is the planet covered by a shield? If you look, there's one scene where it pivots up and it actually shows that there are no stars. It's just a greenish shield that's covering the sky of the planet. And it doesn't really explain why. It just kind of leaves that little air of mystery. While being late for school, Wim finds what he claims to be a Jedi temple when taking a shortcut into the woods trying to get to school. We know, of course, we know it's not a Jedi temple. If anyone has watched the preview, you know it's not a Jedi temple. It is a ship. It really it really killed the mystery with that. I don't know. They just did not sell very well at all that it could have been anything else other than the ship, and it was just completely exploited through the preview. So we already know that it's a ship. We already know it's going to launch them into space. We already know that part because we watched the preview, and it really just exposed all of that. So there's no moment where we're like, oh, what is this place? There's no air of mystery. You know what I mean? It's pretty much plain in our face from the get-go. So Fern and Wim meet while they're both in trouble, and Fern catches wind of the fact that, he's found this Jedi temple. So Fern gets involved because, one, she's curious about this supposed Jedi temple, and two, her speeder bike is broken and she needs a power converter. So she's thinking well, maybe this place has a power converter. So JB and Neil get dragged into the whole thing because they're good friends. JB's good friends with Fern and Neil is good friends with Wim. So of course, while they're searching the ship, Wim ultimately pushes a button he's not supposed to. It puts the ship into an auto launch, and they get launched into hyperspace all the way across the galaxy, in which they finally meet SM-33. SM-33 is a droid and the only surviving member on the ship. I say that loosely because there's no one else alive. And then he was deactivated, and then he became online and active after they launched the ship. So they really leaned into the Sea Dog voice of SM-33 and really kind of gave that whole pirate feel. He's a tough robot, though. Like in the fight scene when they're at the pirate port, he beat every one of those characters down, and it makes it a shame because shortly after that he's so quickly taken out, and then you're thinking, oh man, this is a tough robot, and then he's blah, blah, nope. Oh well, that's disappointing. So and then of course the kids once they get caught, they're in a prison, and this is when they meet the character played by Judd Law, whose name I don't know as of yet. And I'm sorry, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's painfully obvious that Judd Law, who's in the prison, is the pirate captain from the beginning who got betrayed by his crew. I'm pretty sure that's who he is. I could be wrong, but only time will tell. The big surprise about him, though, is that he was a Force user. Even I wasn't expecting that. And of course, Mitt Wim, who's ogling and loves Jedi, immediately thinks he's a Jedi. Of course, we don't know because he was a pirate. I'm sure it's him, which leaves us to wonder: is he a Jedi? Is he a Sith? Or is he just some guy who is Force sensitive and just was able to figure out a few tricks? Those are the questions that are kind of got me thinking about it. It would make perfect sense to me if he was a Sith, just because he wore the stamp of the Sith. He's wearing a mask. All the like half the Sith out there have this weird thing with wearing masks. So since he was I think he was wearing the mask as the pirate captain, because you didn't see the pirate captain's face. It would be no surprise to me if that marked him as a Sith. I don't know. We're gonna find out. So at this point, we know the kids are lost in space. They've got pulled through hyperspace on that whole auto launch, and they're trying to get SM-33, the robot crew member, to take them back to Aden. And what's crazy is that the robot didn't know the planet. Of course, I had assumed that maybe that ship has been lost there for a really long time, and that Aden might have been a relatively new planet in the New Republic. And that would explain a lot of the aesthetics, the new designs, the way everything's kind of set up. It left me with the impression that it probably was New Republic. Hey, buddy. What? What? All right. I need to get back to the show. But yeah, he doesn't seem to know where Aden is, or that it even exists. And the ship is obviously a pirate ship. They leaned heavy in that aesthetic. Like, I could definitely see more and more how this could be like trying to go into Goonies. And it's weird because these are space pirates in a galaxy, quote unquote, far, far away. Why are they using pirate aesthetics? Why are they using like Earth style pirate aesthetics? When you think space pirates, you don't think of your normal day-to-day buccaneers that did the high seas in the days of old, the big old hats and the cutlasses and you know, or the giant big bay windows in the back of the captain's quarters. You don't think about that when you're thinking about anything in Star Wars, not even space pirates. But they really are trying to sell that whole. They're really like trying to force this design to be integrated to say, hey, this is a pirate movie in space, which is crazy. Anyway, so they end up at a pirate port because it's a pirate ship and SM-33 is a pirate robot. And this is where they find out the reason why they can't find their way home is that Aden, according to everybody else, is some kind of mythical and magically sought after place by pirates everywhere. And you realize just how detached the planet was from the rest of the galaxy because when Wim tries to pay for food at a local, or I guess you call it like bar or cantina or whatever it is. Anyway, he tries to pay with Old Republic credits. They're supposed to be in the New Republic. So they're so detached that this planet has basically been untouched by the Empire. They basically have been off grid from the rest of the galaxy for a minute. Oh, and of course that leads that cascades from one things into another, and the next thing you know, they get caught and they're in prison, and that's where episode 2 leaves off, right? So this has been basically my overview of what I think about it, my first impressions of the show. Episode 3 should already be out. Watch it if you haven't seen it. I need to see it. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments below. What do you think about the character that Jude Law is playing? Is he the pirate captain who was betrayed? Is he a Sith? Is he an actual Jedi? Do you think he's a lost Jedi? Basically, like he was trained in the Jedi Temple and then kind of went his own separate ways, because they did something along those lines with the 2 Sith characters in the Ahsoka series, where one of them was originally a actual Jedi who had became a Sith Lord after the fall, the Jedi Order. So I don't know. We don't know his story completely. We don't know his angle, but I'm pretty sure when he found out they were from Aden, that's when he became immediately involved. That's just my thoughts on that. But if you enjoyed the video, definitely leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.